So let's dive right in. Hearing room, as I mentioned, was packed this morning for public testimony on the income tax bill. This is, again, a 9.9% tax on income above $1 million or combined household income. So wife makes $500,000, husband makes $500,000, boom, combined. Anything over that they make is taxed at nearly 10%. Supporters say the money's critical to fund education, healthcare, some of it to go back to small business tax relief, and to expand the working families tax credit. So, as I mentioned, standing room only in there. And before testimony began, the committee chair, April Berg, who's a Democrat from Mill Creek, addressed something that we discussed yesterday, allegations of a whole bunch of duplicate sign-ins. So if you've ever signed in pro or con on a bill at Olympia, you can go in there, you can put your name. If you're a business owner, you can put the name of your business if you so choose, and then sign in pro or con. And that's just kind of intended to give lawmakers on that committee an idea of, how much support or how much resistance there is to any piece of legislation. As of Monday afternoon, there were over 100,000 people signed in con, or appeared to have signed in con. Just under 10,000 is the figure for those that had signed in pro. Again, some assertions being made that there are duplicate signers or people signing in when they meant to sign in pro, that their name showed up on con. So here is what Representative Berg said at the top of today's hearing.
I do want to make a brief announcement to call attention to something that you may have seen in the press. We have had, it seems, manipulation of our public comment system. Following stakeholder reports of impersonation, initial review indicates that there are over 19,000 duplicate records and over 200 people have been fraudulently signed in on the bill without their knowledge. This matter is being investigated further, and I want to publicly acknowledge the damage that's been done to this democratic process, as this fraud has called into question many of the sign-ons onto this bill.
Now, some opposed to the bill are suggesting that, the fake sign-ins might have been manufactured, maybe to take away from the fact that there is so much opposition to this bill. Steve Gordon with Gordon Trucking posted to X. He said, in part, rather than having any self-reflection within their base of support, they're more than likely staunched the bleeding here with this. Oh, first it was bots, now it's outright fraud. That's suggestion of bots was made after the first public hearing on this bill last week, when there were so many people that signed in against, and supporters were suggesting, well, that just can't be. There can't be 60,000 people that signed in such a short amount of time in opposition to this bill. So the bots suggestion was thrown out. Now it's fraudulent sign-ins. Going to be interesting, going to take some time to, find out what really happened there. And if they want to make any changes to the system to sort of prevent this type of duplicate signing, I'm not certain how they can do that at this point. So despite the overwhelming number of people signing in con and wanting to testify against the bill, equal time was given to supporters, including Washington State Labor Council, Washington State Federation of State Employees, and progressive groups like the Economic Opportunity Institute. In fact, the first three testifiers were all folks in support of the bill. But in my opinion, the more passionate testimony came from opponents, many of them business representatives who are concerned the income tax is going to lead to capital flight, new business investment, maybe not coming to Washington. And others were just regular citizens who are concerned that the tax is eventually going to trickle down to be a tax on all income, not just the wealthy. So this woman, I want to share part of her testimony. She was pretty passionate. Her name's Adrienne Jones, and she testified near the very end of the hearing. She came up with her little boy sitting in the front row right behind the testimony table. So again, this is just a concerned citizen voicing her objections to the bill.
I'm here with my big long speech, but apparently nobody understands how income tax works. The top earners already pay 37%, and now we're asking them to pay 9.9%. That's almost half of your income towards taxes. Not only that, they pay higher housing tax, they pay luxury taxes, they're paying gas tax, they're paying capital gains tax. they're going to leave this state, and we're going to be left with politicians and people that are low income. All the people that are making really good money for this state are going to leave. Every day I drive by a hotel that King County bought for $11 million, and it's been vacant since 2021. We don't need more taxes. We need Washington State to learn how to budget. They need to stop making it rain with our tax dollars and learn to budget.
So this hearing went a full 2 hours. At one point, we had anti-tax activist Tim Eyman. He got his microphone muted when he was testifying because he suggested that the bill's sponsor, Jamie Peterson, had personally contacted state Supreme Court justices about the bill to make sure it's going to hold up when it hits their desk. Peterson was asked that directly in today's Democratic media leadership media availability. I was attending that as well, and said absolutely not. And they were pressed a little further. Have any of the leadership members had any conversations with state Supreme Court justices about the constitutionality of the income tax? And they all said that there's been no conversations, no emails, that sort of a thing. So Senate Bill 6346, or the amended version of it, is due for executive session out of that same House Finance Committee on Friday.